This lets me know that manhood is not something that's obtained through an age. It's not something that you get through masculinity. But manhood is something that must be proven. He said to Solomon, he said, prove yourself a man. And by that statement, it lets us know that it's some proving that we must do to become a man. Amen. Now, society has already painted a picture for us for what they think a man should be. But God had already established his definition of a man. Amen. When we look back at Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, the Bible says that God created man in his own image according to his likeness. Then in verse 27, it tells us that God created male and female, he created them. There was a creative difference between a man and a male. Now, I'm not saying that it was two creations between them, but each male should have a man in him that looks like God. The male, he had a biological, a reproductive, and a physical difference that identified him as being a male. Amen. But the man was identified by being in the image and likeness of God. David was sinning. David was being disobedient. But yet God said, this is a man after my own heart. See, let me tell you something. Don't allow where you fall short to dictate in your mind how God sees you. And what they established was from Genesis to Revelation for a man to follow. And as a man, it's your responsibility to get into the Word and read it. It's not your pastor's responsibility. It's not your wife's responsibility. It's a man's responsibility to get in that Word, to read that Word, get an understanding, and get a relationship with God, and understand what that Word is telling you to do as a man. Amen. Amen. In Genesis, when God first gave Eve to Adam, he said to them, he said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. He gave the same responsibility to both of them. She was the co-lead along with him. He did not give those commands only to Adam, and then Adam, told her behind him. They were standing right there together when God gave them those commands. Both of them had the exact same responsibility to carry out. Amen. We want to run to those things like telling our wife, you need to be under submission to me. You need to listen to what I tell you because I'm the head and I'm the lead. But can I tell you something about submission? That word sub means under. Like a submarine or sub-zero refrigerator. It means to be under. And that word mission simply means assignment. So a wife to be under submission means she's under assignment. And what is the assignment that she's under? The assignment that she's under is to help you as a man fulfill the destiny that God has given to you. Now the Bible also says that God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man and man is the head of woman. That does not mean when he says head that you are the boss, you are the leader. That's not what it's saying. That word head actually means you're covered. You're her cover. You're her protector. Amen. He's telling him to look around in your life and see what God has done for you and around you as proof of existence. As a man, we should be able to see God working around us. As a man, we should be able to see God at work around us. And when we see God at work, it's our responsibility as a man to join in. Because God can do nothing in this earth without us. I know that sounds crazy. You say, well, God can do anything. He can't do nothing in this earth without us. Why? Because he gave all the power, authority, and everything to man upon this earth. And so in order for him to work, it has to be worked through us. And if us as males don't begin to operate as men, God can't work through us. Can't work through us.